This one is going to be a more advanced one. We're going to take a multi-view drawing, turn it into a design, and then turn it back into a multi-view drawing. So the first thing we want to do is we want to go to our data panel here. We're going to go into, we notice we're in our lesson 2.3, which we want. So now we can save our file, and we're going to save our file as steps underscore whatever your last name is. All right, notice it's in the engineering, and it's in 2.3. So I'm saving it. Well, now we're good. We have our save file there. We're ready to build. So when we build this, there's two ways to build it. You could build it from the front out, or you could just build it from the steps up. I'm going to show you how to build it from the bottom up, and that's going to be by using 3 different layers and then cutting a hole through it. So we're going to start from the top down. We're going to create a sketch on the top. And when we create a sketch, notice that this one we're in inches. So document settings, we're in inches. Good, we don't have to do anything. And the first thing I want to do is I want to build this bottom layer. Now this bottom layer is going to be 10 inches long, and it's going to be, the width right here is 6. So it's 6 by 10, 10 and 6. So I take my rectangle here, click on my center, start going up. I know that it's going to be 6 units high. I'm going to hit tab, and then I'm going to go 10 units long and hit enter. Now notice it's really far off my page, so I'm just going to pinch my fingers, slide this over and get it centered and hit finish sketch. All right, I like to hit the home button each time, pinch out a little bit. And what I have to do now is I have to build this layer up. When I build it up, it says it's built up 2. So I go to extrude. I'm going to extrude that 2 inches. And I got my first bottom layer. Now I have to create the second bottom layer. That's this layer right here. So you're going 2 inches in. So since you're going 2 inches in, that means you're going 8 units wide. So I'm going to sketch, and I'm going to sketch on the top of this rectangle. All right, so now my sketch plane is actually the top of this rectangle. I'm going to go to a 2-point rectangle again, click it in the top left, and now I know when I come down here, come to the bottom, it's going to be 6 still. And now instead of going over 10, I go over 8, because 10 minus 2 is 8. So now I have a rectangle on top. I'm going to finish sketch, and now you see my 10 by 6, and this is my 8 by 6. This one also is extruded 2. So I go here, and I click extrude, and I'm extruding it 2 inches. All right, the last thing to do is this top piece. Well, 2 plus 2 is 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. So that means we're going to have a little 6 by 6 rectangle on top. Create sketch. Make sure you're not clicking on the top plane, but you're clicking on the top of your figure you already have. And now I'm going to make my 2-point rectangle. I like to make it from one of the corners, either top left or bottom left. And when I do it, I just hit 6, tab 6, and I make my rectangle, which happens to also be a square. I finish the sketch. Notice the steps are the same size. I click on that, and this is also an extrusion of 2 inches because 6 minus 4 would be 2. Oops. Slide that up, and we're sliding it up 2. All right, so now I got this picture. All I'm missing is the circle. So now when I do the circle, I'm going to have to look at my front, all right? And I'm going to have to use the front as a sketch plane. So I'm going to sketch and make sure when I sketch, I'm clicking this front. So it highlights the front plane as a sketch plane. And I'm creating a circle with a diameter of 3. So I take a circle button, I click anywhere in here, and I hit 3. So I have a circle with a diameter of 3. Now the constraints here are it's 2 and 71/100ths to the left from the bottom corner and 2 and 71/100ths from the bottom. So I'm going to go over to this sketch dimension button, and that's going to take it. I could take this button and move it to the left side. You notice they highlight. Drag it down. I click it down here. I'm going to hit 2 and 71/100ths, and it slides over. I click the center point and the bottom piece, slide it over here. 2 and 71/100ths again. I hit enter, and notice that it's constrained and it's right in that bottom corner. I can hit finish sketch, and now I have my circle. Notice I'm not using the hole button, I'm using an extrude button. So now when I go to extrude, I click on the circle, and I know this is 6 inches wide, so if I hit 6 here, it extrudes at 6, but wait, it's doing it the wrong way. We don't want it to join. What we want to do is we want to go a -6. We want it to come through. And what that does is it turns the operation to cut, and it's actually going to cut through this object. So we hit OK, and if I actually look through here, whoops, I can see the hole goes all the way through. So right now you can go Command-Shift-4, you can take a screenshot of this, and you could save it, and we're set to go. Just make it user saved, and we're good. So that's 3 of the 4 things you need so far for this exercise. And the last thing to do is turn this into a multi-view drawing. Now, in order to turn this into a multi-view drawing, what we're going to do is we're going to go right back up to Design, make sure it's saved first, and we go to Drawing from Design. Now, when we go to Drawing from Design, what you end up getting here is a full assembly. We're going to use sheet size B this time. Change it up a little bit. Make sure your units is in inches, and you have ASME as your standard. All right, so you hit OK. And now we're just going to have to wait a couple seconds for it to upload. All right, so now what the computer's doing is it's processing the figure, and we're going to turn this into pretty much the same exact thing we have here. We're just redrawing it, but it's good to create all this stuff. It's excellent practice. So once you get done, you should have a figure that looks very similar to the one we just started with. So it's going, it's going, it's going. I don't know what's going on there. Good. My project is called Engineering Valentino. All right, whatever. It gives me a different thing. My title is Steps, my last name. I like it. It has my name in it, has the word steps in it. So I'm going to drop my step down here. Now, the problem is when I drop it, is you see the scale is 1 to 4. So that's kind of small. If I change the scale to 1 to 2, that might be a little better. So we're going to try that out. So we put our scale at 1 to 2, and we can drag this up if we want. And what we're going to want is we're going to want 3 things. So once again, we go to Create, and we go to Projected View. Click on here. Now if we click up here, that's good. Click to the right, excellent, and click to the top left. Now notice what happens when I do this. My scale is 1 to 2, but this is too jumbled and too cluttered. So I can double click on here, and maybe I want my scale to be 1 to 1.5. So I can change my scale. Still no good. Maybe 1 to 1, nope. 1 to 2.5. Let's see if I'm going the right way. All right, that's good. How about just 1 to 3? 1 to 3 seems perfect. It seems like it fits in good. But notice I fooled around with that a little bit, and I just kept on changing the scale and seeing how it worked. Now, we got our hidden lines already drawn. Which is great. I'm going to take this and double-click this. And remember, we're going to always make that isometric view shaded. All right, now we also got to make sure we got our center mark. That shows where the center of the circle is. So you click on the center mark button and you click on the circle, and it gives you kind of like a bullseye for your center mark. You click on center line. That shows you where the center mark is going to go up. So we click on both of these, both sides of the circle, and the center line goes through. We want to draw this center line and have it go there. So we're going to do this circle. That's the top piece and the bottom piece, and that shoots the center line through there. And if you look, you can see all these are lined up. We got our center lines and we got our circles. So the last thing left to do is, we also have our hidden lines, is to do our dimensions, which is right here. All right, they can auto dimension it for you, but I want you guys to get practice doing dimensions on your own, and we're just creating the same dimensions as here. So the first ones we could do, you can just click on here from side to side and drag it up. That's a 2. From side to side, drag it up. That's a 2. And if I went from here to here and dragged it up, that's a 10. All right, now I don't need to do from here to here because I know 10 minus 4 is 6, and we don't want to over dimension this project. All right, now we also know that this is 6 units high. Oop, that went too far. So I can just do Control Z anytime I don't like something, and it gets rid of it. Or I could do the undo button. All right, I'm going to try this again. Go to my dimension. Corner to corner. 6. And right here, they also have the bottom being a 6. All right. They have this to the side, 2.71. All right, and the center to the bottom, also 2.71. And they finally have the diameter is 3. Make sure your leader line does not cross any of the other dimension lines. That would be no good. Finally, we're just going to say this is about 2. All right, we're going to say this is also 2. Now we know that these are both 2 inches wide because it says it up here, so we don't need to redimension it. All right. We know that this distance, and we know 2, 2, and if the whole thing is 6, that means this has to be as well. All right. Now what you can do is, if I press escape, I can actually zoom in here, and if you want, say I want to line these up a little better, you can move these dimensions to where you want. All right. This is kind of locked in here, so I can move that over a little bit. I could try to line these up, and like I said, you don't have to. These are giving me some trouble right now with the lock point, but you get the point. All right, so this is good. I also think this 10 is too close up here, so I could drag this down a little bit. Everything comes with it. This 6 can be dragged up a little bit. Nope. The only way to make that go up is you have to move your base figure. All right, and I can just put this a little bit over here. So that everything looks like it's pretty good. I kind of like how it is. I did change my scale, so I would click on the scale down here, and I did change it to 1 to 3, so I want to recognize that. All right, drawn by is my name, and I got steps in my last name. Finish properties. You can fill in the other stuff if you like. I am going to save this. My document saved, steps, last name, drawing. Notice the drawing is the change. All right, so now it's saved. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my drawing, slide it over, Control-Shift-4, screenshot this drawing, and upload it to Canvas. And now I am done with my 2.3 Multiview drawing using Fusion. All right? So, good job, and on to the next lesson.